Right now, though, Julie Gunlock, you know who we got? We got the man of the hour, the man who is coming right off the inauguration. Now he has to go right into planning CPAC. Boy, who set up this schedule for you, Matt Schlapp? Man, oh man.
Larry O'Connor, how are you?
I'm well. I'm worried about you, though, and your sanity as you try to put together what is sure to be one of the greatest CPACs of our lifetime, coming off of this extraordinary victory for Donald Trump. And I know that it's going to be an important one to set the agenda for the conservative movement. And are you going to be okay with all the planning that you're going through right now? That's what I worry about.
It's kind of like the inauguration, except it's indoors. You definitely have a chair. There's heat and a buffet and an open bar. So, it's kind of like a civilized version of the inauguration.
Can I just make a suggestion, not to get in the way of this, but assuming President Trump is going to be making an appearance and giving a speech, convince him to roll out the desk and sign an executive order or two while he's there. There's something about that, right?
Twitter, go get on X, Larry. That's a good one. Go get on X.
The cool thing that we like about it, and I want to get your take on some of the issues of the day and what's going on with the first 3 weeks of the Trump administration, but I do want to focus on CPAC for a moment, just because it's not only a great international event, but it's also our local event. WMAL is always there. We will be there again, thanks to your great hospitality on Media Row. What can our listeners do to participate in this? Because I'm sure they would love to come out and celebrate the president this time around.
Well, I will tell you, tickets are selling fast. We already sold out of one category 2 days ago, and my guess is we'll make another announcement today on that. So go to cpac.org, get your tickets. We've done everything we can to keep the student and the general admission tickets as low as possible, because in the end, CPAC is a grassroots organization, and it's the people that are raising their kids and driving a truck, and as people say, their name is on the front of their shirt. They're going to save the country. I mean, I love the fact that all the wealthy people ponied up with Trump and everything, and I appreciate that. But it's just the average, everyday Americans who have woken up, not even necessarily Republicans. They're saving our country. Yep. So we got to share notes and plot and plan, and don't stop. The big mistake the conservative movement made in 1981 is they finally elected a conservative president in modern times. And I'm not saying all of them, but many of them thought our job is done. And we've got Reagan in there. We'll get almost a decade of judges and everything else. And then the fight's over. And I think some people feel that way with Trump. And I think that's a huge mistake. We got them on the run. We've got to run them down and make sure this nasty ideology is exorcised from our politics.
Yeah, thank you. We're speaking with Matt Schlapp, and Matt, you're right. I mean, I love seeing the grassroots come out, and it's a great energy at CPAC every year. But I'll just take a moment here. There's a lot of tycoons who listen to this show. There's a lot of business owners. There's a lot of CEOs. If you want your product or your service in front of some really influential and important, and also a massive crowd of dedicated and passionate and loyal consumers, you might want to look at a sponsorship at CPAC, because I always take a second or third look at any organization or company who puts and aligns their name and their brand with CPAC as well. Hey, Matt, when you look at these nominees for the Trump cabinet, what sticks out to you? I know you've been really excited about Pam Bondi over at the Justice Department, and rightly so, considering some of the things we've seen over the past several years from that organization.
Yeah, well, let me say, Pam Bondi is a wonderfully talented person, a great friend, someone Mercy and I have worked with. We're very excited. I think it's really the key cabinet post, quite honestly. I think the weaponization of the swamp to go after Trump supporters and Republicans. I mean, look at this decision by FARA from the president. This foreign registration requirement makes sense, right? You're going to represent a foreign entity, a foreign government. There should be transparency. Well, they've taken a poorly written law and used it basically 80% of the time to just go after Republicans. They've gone after a couple of prominent Democrats. So by and large, this is a weapon of DOJ to go after their political opponents. And it's really disgraceful. And let me just say on air, I think John Thune and Speaker Johnson, I know a lot of their staff listen to you as well. Take all these executive orders especially the key ones, and roll them into the budget reconciliation process.
Yeah.
I keep hearing about the fact that some of this has to go through Congress. So take DOGE and take the USAID and take the FARA piece, and Pam should go through every part of DOJ. Everyone that's 80% focused on going after Republicans, stop enforcing that law because we're out of balance, and put it all in the reconciliation budget. We never have to hear from these Democrats ever again, or at least for another year, that somehow this isn't legal.
Matt, I have a question about how CPAC is actually planned and organized, because what you just mentioned is so important, and people want to hear about so many of these issues. I feel like I'm, getting a fire hose here of issues. I can't keep up. How do you guys decide what issues to focus on, what issues to cover at CPAC?
Well, maybe sometimes we do it better than other times, Julie. Sometimes we get done with the 4 days and someone will say, well, they didn't talk about this. And you're like, oh, you know what? They're right. We didn't. And it fills up fast, and you can't have everyone that you want to have speak, and you got to be judicious. And all I can say is we have a very hard-working staff. Jim O'Connell takes the lead on editing the program. He's doing a great job. And, for me, and I don't want to speak for my wife, who is integral in all this too, but you kind of are listening to what people are saying, right? It's kind of like, how does Trump know what to put on X and what to say? He listens a lot to people, and I think we've tried to do that better. I think think tanks and kind of the stodgy old conservative movement was preaching towards grassroots people what they should think, and that can be fine on really important issues, but I think what we're trying to do is listen to them. What's the pain threshold they're feeling in their lives? And I think the number one thing they're feeling in their lives is that they're a person of not extreme power or wealth, and they are being toyed with, exploited by their own government. I mean, think about all the USAID money that went to, counter their religious views or counter their political views or destabilize governments overseas they respect. That's just one little piece of this. So we have to listen to what the American people are going through, and at CPAC we're also listening to what people around the globe are going through.
That's right. Well, and you're also looking on the horizon. I'll just reiterate, the first time I ever saw Riley Gaines speak in public, I think it was her first public appearance ever about the issue of men invading women's sports, was on the stage at CPAC. First time I ever saw Candace Owens was on the stage at CPAC. A lot of time, for most people in America, the first time they ever saw Andrew Breitbart was on the stage at CPAC. And for that matter, the first political speech from Donald Trump. Exactly.
That's right. Donald Trump, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., Charlie Kirk started on our stage. I mean, we're quite proud of the fact that I think we get this right most of the time, not all the time, because we allow people, even ones that are heterodox, even ones that maybe, have taken some liberal positions, we allow them to talk on our stage. And I think if we could allow people to talk and exercise their freedoms, my God, we could get this country back to a normal place.
Wait, that doesn't mean that Bill Kristol's invited, is it?
I would, if Bill Kristol texted me today, and I think he hates my guts, but if he texted me today and said, I want to go on an anti-Trump rant, I might just allow it, right? Because, that helps us all understand Trump derangement syndrome a little bit better, and maybe we can find some compassion.
And then have Kurt Schlichter follow him on the stage. I think that would be perfect.
Right. I agree with that.
Now we've sold some tickets. All right, Matt Schlapp, thanks for joining us. Always good to talk with you. We'll see you soon. It's right around the corner. The weekend of February 22nd, right? Bye-bye. Thanks, Matt. Yes. 8:15, WMAL traffic and weather every 10 minutes first on the 5s. That's 2 weeks away. We're 2 weeks out from, not even that, week and a half out, right? 10 days out from CPAC. Yeah. Good Lord. Jamie Witten's in the Hadid carpet cleaning